Good evening, everyone. I'm meteorologist Cassie Knoll, and this is your 10 weather impact recap for the week. We want to start by looking at your top 3 weather stories from across the country. First, it's snowing. Some of the highest peaks in Great Smoky Mountains National Park woke up to a winter wonderland last week. Check out these photos from the LeConte Lodge. They received 4 inches of fresh powder Wednesday morning. The first signs of snow appeared at elevations of about 3,700 feet, and it started to stick to the trees at 4,300 feet. Up in the Northeast, Mount Washington has also seen some wintry weather. Over 17 inches of snow fell last week. Take a look at these beautiful pictures from the observatory. And that's not just snow. Rime ice also coated every surface. That's what you're seeing in that photo there. Rime ice forms when temperatures are below freezing and clouds or fog are present. The water droplets in those clouds and fog are very tiny, and they freeze on contact with surfaces, creating the beautiful formations you see in these photos. And up in the mountains of Arizona, it was snowing at Snow Bowl in Flagstaff. The ski resort is not officially open for the winter season just yet. There was a mix of snow, hail, and rain over the weekend. Number 2, some coastal towns are seeing flooding because of king tides. That's a tide that is higher than usual due to the alignment of the Earth, Sun, and Moon. This is video from our sister station in Jacksonville. Low-lying portions of the city could see extra water on the roads due to those high tides. A combination of the king tide, onshore winds, and a lot of rain from 2 hurricanes in 2 weeks are causing this latest round of flooding. And number 3, NOAA released its winter weather outlook. You can see the temperature outlook here for the months of December, January, and February. Those are the 3 months that make up meteorological winter. The pattern that you're seeing is very similar to what we would see during a La Nina year, which is what we're going to be having as we go into the winter and spring seasons. For East Tennessee, that shows a chance of some above average temperatures. And when it comes to precipitation, generally, the lower third of the lower 48 tends to be a little bit on the drier and warmer side of things. But remember, in East Tennessee, we kind of get caught in the middle, affected by almost every weather system that moves across the United States. So we're not going too strong in either direction when it comes to the precipitation forecast. But here's some extra details. This does not mean that it will be warm for the whole winter. It means that we'll still have periods of cold weather, and those cold weather forecasts only happen about 2 weeks in advance because the type of pattern that allows us to have Arctic outbreaks in the eastern half of the U.S. depends on what's going on in the Atlantic Ocean. And like I said, that one's only forecast about 14 days in advance. Now, there's also a weak signal for that La Nina this year, so that adds a higher than normal lower confidence and higher than normal level of variability expected throughout the season. So we can expect lots of ups and downs as we go along. But either way, we'll have more details about East Tennessee's specific winter weather outlook coming up in the next several weeks here on WBIR. Now in New Mexico, at least 2 people have died because of powerful flooding in Roswell and surrounding areas. Hundreds more were rescued. The National Weather Service says that almost 6 inches of rain fell in just 24 hours. That broke a record dating back to 1901. Cell phone video from Saturday night shows the record-breaking rain that led to the flash flooding, overtaking streets, straining vehicles, and forcing road closures. This is the same system that brought the snow to the higher elevations of Arizona. Back here closer to home, many mountain communities are still recovering after devastating flooding from Hurricane Helene. Asheville, North Carolina was hit hard by that flooding, and that includes the Biltmore Estate. Leaders with the Biltmore Estate say they plan to reopen next month after closing to repair from those damages from Helene. The estate is looking to reopen on November 2nd for its 125th year, just in time for the holiday season. Crews are getting the decorations ready now, and Christmas at the Biltmore will last until July. Another area just about an hour outside of Asheville was also devastated by Helene. NBC's Ray Yerna walks through the damage and recovery efforts in Chimney Rock.
This is the muddy remains of Chimney Rock's Main Street. Mayor Peter O'Leary says the village has a 100% unemployment rate as every business in the village is closed due to Helene. Like, what is your just reaction still coming down here every day and just seeing what happened here on the Main Street?
Well, it's it's always heartbreaking to see the devastation because I still remember obviously what it looked like just a few weeks ago, and now that's completely changed, and it's just it's very hard to imagine. I mean, this area here, you had 6 businesses that are no longer here.
And the last time I talked to you, you said that the river literally changed, and I just see there's flowing water here that wasn't here beforehand.
The river that you can see over here, DOT did move it out of the way so they could work on this road. And that's more or less where the river was before. But during the flood, it just did a big circle here and carved out this whole area. And this is an area that, like I said before, had businesses, houses, amusement park, and burnt shirt. I mean, it was just totally different. Not part of the river, and now it became part of the river.
Down in Georgia, Hurricane Helene destroyed the pecan orchards. According to the University of Georgia Pecan Extension, there is extensive damage in southeast Georgia. Some counties even saw up to 90% of trees lost. These are just some pictures of various counties where you can see the trees that were destroyed. The U.S. Department of Agriculture says pecan trees are usually the first to blow over when a tropical storm passes through. These farmers are now asking for help from the federal government. And right now, the entire North Carolina section of the popular Blue Ridge Parkway is closed. That's because portions of the roadway were compromised from flooding and downed trees during Helene. The parkway is especially popular this time of year because of the fall colors. Crews are busy cleaning up tens of thousands of trees and other debris across hundreds of miles. The parkway is open, though, from milepost 0 to 200 in the state of Virginia. That includes the scenic byway from Shenandoah National Park south to U.S. Highway 52. And speaking of fall colors, take a look at this beautiful video. It is time for the leaf peepers to get out and enjoy the colors. It's a growing trend that has exploded on social media in recent years. Visitors and locals just can't get enough of that fall foliage in communities throughout the Northeast and beyond. NBC's Sam Brock has more.
It's that time of year again. Splashes of red, yellow, and orange creating breathtaking views.
This is, without a doubt, the best hike to see the fall foliage.
Peak fall foliage now in season with leaf peepers out in full force. From coast to coast, trees undergoing this magnificent color-changing effect. From Washington State and Colorado to New York, Vermont, and New Hampshire. For visitors taking in these unbelievable backdrops, it's like stepping into a movie.
You don't like it here?
Oh, the leaves are great.
According to New Hampshire's own foliage tracker, mid-October is the best time to embrace the colors of fall. The Granite State, home to more than 90 different state parks, is expecting close to 4 million visitors for the seasonal sensation. Along Artist Bluff Trail in Franconia Notch State Park, one of the hot spots for sightseeing, large crowds creating some congested scenes with a bottleneck of people along the path.
We saw a few people come down from being on top saying how terrified they were at the top.
But Brian Wilson, the state park's director, says his team has tweaked and promoted new technology to better manage the flood of visitors.
We've got some reservation systems in place. It's helping us just kind of be aware of when they're coming and to kind of spread others around that are coming in.
The popularity of foliage tourism has increased over the years, driven in large part by social media.
Visiting Sleepy Hollow in the fall worth it?
With cities like Pomfret, Vermont, temporarily shutting down areas to non-locals.
The TikTokers or Instagram has really made the difference in the last couple of years.
Wilson's advice, try to grab a spot on the reservation system ahead of time, and if it's full, check out their social media accounts for hidden gems.
An example of somewhere you could go that has beautiful color that you may not have thought of: Charleston, West Virginia. This is a camera live, as you can tell by the wasps floating around there. Look at the fall colors, and this is a fully sunny day. When we have cloudy days, you can really see the colors a lot better because the sun doesn't wash them out. But we have beautiful yellows, golds, oranges, reds, even the rusty colors starting to show up. Love this view from Charleston, West Virginia. And you know what? The southern Appalachians, especially above about 3,500 to 4,000 feet, are getting close to peak levels there in parts of West Virginia and into Virginia. Down here into East Tennessee and western North Carolina, our highest elevations are also seeing high color, getting close to peak or maybe even past peak on the western North Carolina side. Meanwhile, in the lower elevations, we're starting to see moderate color. And from explorefall.com, over the next 7 days, they are forecasting a lot more color to start to pop. In fact, across the northern plateau, southeast Kentucky, In Southwest Virginia, we could be very close to peak colors by this time next week. So remember to send us those photos so we can share them with everybody, and we love to see them. Now, part of what is helping to trigger these leaves to start to change is the cooler temperatures. That's also the time of year, though, when many of you will have to get burn permits for debris or leaf piles. 10 News reporter Ellis Rold explains what you need to know before you burn.
Fall leaves bring beautiful colors to the mountains of East Tennessee, but dry weather can bring fires.
By the time we get to fall and they've dried out and they're on the ground, all of a sudden we just have a carpet of fuel that can go up very easily.
Burn permits are now required across the state to try and prevent wildfires.
Escape debris fires are one of the leading causes of wildfires, both in the U.S. and in Tennessee specifically. And that's why the permit system is a really important piece of our wildfire prevention strategy here in Tennessee.
And fire prevention in East Tennessee is especially important.
East Tennessee is always a big concern when it comes to wildfires. The hurricane did dump enough rain that it took most of East Tennessee out of the drought condition, and eventually those dry conditions do return.
In most counties, you'll need to get a permit from the Tennessee Division of Forestry to burn debris like leaves and sticks in your yard. However, a few counties, including Knox, require one from the Air Quality Division. And in Knoxville city limits, you can't burn at all. KFD encourages residents to follow permit rules.
Throughout the fall, especially when we start having a lot of leaves, or we'll get a lot of branches down after a storm, folks will collect those. Instead of putting them curbside, they'll actually place them in their backyard and burn them. And that's just kind of a dangerous situation.
And officials say if you do get a permit, to take the proper safety precautions.
Then once you've picked a good safe spot for it, you want to make sure that you have tools to control the fire on hand. So that might be rakes, bucket of water, a hose, what have you, just something to be.
And conditions are very dry out there right now. Some cities like Birmingham, Atlanta, Nashville, and New York at Central Park have not had any measurable rain this month. For some of these locations, this could be their first completely dry month on record. Now, we also don't have much rain in the forecast right now in East Tennessee. We've only had 0.02 of an inch of rain so far in the month of October, which is only 1% of the amount of rain we typically would have by this time during the month of October. And we don't have any rain in that 7-day forecast as of right now. Temperatures also are going to continue to run about 5 to 10 degrees above average. Abundant sunshine each day through the week. Cool mornings, warm afternoons. And then things start to change a little bit as we go into the weekend. Notice we have a little bit more cloud cover showing up with some of those icons, and the temperatures come down just a little bit. We'll have to see how that pattern evolves, but it does look like there might be a front coming through early next week. Maybe it'll bring us some sprinkles. We'll keep you up to date on that here on WBIR. Thank you so much for watching. And remember, you can always get the very latest forecast with the 10 News app. It's free to download in the App Store.